Hello and welcome to the DIY Web Marketer YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about how to build a responsive email list. We're going to cover a couple of strategies for list building that you might find very interesting, and then 4 key concepts that you must follow if you want your list to be responsive. By responsive, we mean that when your emails land in their inbox, they open them gladly and they trust the information that you provide to them. And lastly, we're going to talk about a couple of strategies to deal with unsubscribes and those people on your list that don't particularly like the way that you email market and how you can use that to your advantage. So with that, sit back, relax, and enjoy how to build a responsive email list.
And today we're going to talk about email marketing, how to create a responsive list. I pulled around or a little over 100K out of my list in gross, not in profit technically, from a list of about 800 people in a year span, 13-month span. And I did it through all these techniques that I'm going to share with you. So I got a lot out of a little. So that meant my list was pretty responsive. That meant that the average person on my list was worth about $100 to me per person throughout the year. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with those numbers. And I'll share with you the techniques that I use this, And the first thing you got to understand is email marketing is the best way to market to somebody. And you want to learn this stuff because you can really create these people that just defend you, that just check out what you're doing at all times, and they just absolutely love to receive your communications. And since email currently is pretty much free, it's the best way to get instant traffic. So with that said, there's 2 approaches, and neither one of them are right or wrong. It just depends on the situation and on your personal philosophy with email marketing. But there's 2 approaches. There's the churn and burn approach, and there's a lot from the little approach. The churn and burn approach is what you see most often, and it's what people try to emulate that I think they mess up on. But the churn and burn approach is simply this. They have a system in place that generates tons and tons and tons of fresh leads every day, so their list is constantly getting new subscribers, and then they hit them hard with offer after offer after offer. And in this case, this is where the short, hard sell emails work best. It's basically where you pull the biggest benefit of whatever you're talking about or pitching them, and then you say, you want to get your hands on this because of blank, here's the link, check it out. Or there's a good part of the story, check out how this guy did this, go here. And so it's just a very short, hard sell. You're selling the offer pretty much and nothing more. You're not building up relationship with them or trust with them or showing them you care. Some of these other things I'm going to talk about. You're just saying, go here, buy this, go here, buy this, go here, buy this, pretty much. And there's nothing wrong with that. The unsubscribe rates are high, but so is the lifetime value of the subscriber. Even though lifetime value is short, typically everybody who gets on your list is going to buy at least one thing because you're hitting them over and over again with offers. And the more offers you make in general, the more sales you're going to make in the short term. Now, in the long term, you got to keep replacing those leads. If you don't have a system for replacing those leads, then you're going to die and you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. And in the long term, you're not going to be making any money because you're going to have a high unsubscribe rate. So for most people, especially people getting started, this is not a good strategy. It's very good, though, for certain niches when you can have that kind of deal flow, especially in CPAs. That's all it is. They get you on their list, and then they hit you with 1,000 things right away on that list, and it's just really, the lifetime value of a customer, or the lifespan of a customer there is like a week at most, and then they try to like hell for that week to get off your list. But there's nothing wrong with the churn and burn approach. You're a marketer. Your job is to sell people stuff. There's nothing wrong with this. It's just you have to have a system for generating a ton of fresh leads. And it's in a sense where you just want the cash flow right away too, and you don't want to take the time to really build up a lot from a little. So there's that approach. I don't recommend that approach for most people because it doesn't work for them. Instead, I recommend a lot from a little. And this is where you actually sell trust more than the product. Here's the secret. What are the emails that you open up all the time? Think about that. What are the types of emails that you find yourself always opening? And the answer is the stuff you get from your friends. So like if my dad sends me an email, I open it right away. Or if an old college buddy of mine sends me an email, I open it right away. Notice that has nothing to do with information. It has nothing to do with selling them the benefits of something. It has everything to do with the relationship that I have with that person. And so you get that through trust. And really, I trust that whatever my dad's going to send me is going to be important to me. It's something I'm going to know about, or it's going to be something of interest, or something I need to know about. So when I talk to him next time. And so you want to be the same way. You want to sell trust more than the product. If you sell trust, then they're going to open up every single one of your emails. And then within the email itself, you can make those offers. But if you don't have trust first, your open rates are going to go way, way down. So sell trust more than the product. And really how you do that is there's 4 main things to it. The first thing is good information. You want to give them really good information. So every time that they open it up, they know they're going to get something good for you. But in a lot of niches where, especially information niches where they get information all the time, that's not that potent. It's good to have, and I do it all the time myself, but it's not the most important thing with email marketing. Looking out for their best interest is way more important. So if you've been on my list, you've seen me. Do not buy this product because it sucks. I've sent out a couple of those emails. And if I haven't, I'll tell them up front. I'll be like, look at this. Looks like a good idea. Looks like a good deal, but I got to be honest with you. I've never used this. So if there's something that interests you, check it out. But I can't tell you if it's good or not. Or I'll be like, okay, guys, you're gonna get hit. The front end product's really good, but you're gonna get hit with 5 freaking upsells. So just ignore those. Click through them, but expect that. And if that's too much for you, then don't buy this product. Although I think this product's really good, yes, the upsells are annoying. So I'm looking out for their best interest. I'm even sacrificing profits to look out for their best interest, so they know that. And so, if you look out for their best interest, that's way more important. You can deliver mediocre information, but if they know you're looking out for their best interest, they're going to be opening your emails a lot more because they're like, look, this guy's helping me out. I trust him to help me out making decisions, and I'm going to open up his emails. And we'll get more into how to do this specifically here in a bit, but humanizing yourself is huge. And really, it sells trust by making somebody say, I can relate to you. And so, for example, I talk a lot about how I like chess. Guess what? I have people email me saying, "Oh, I'm a big chess guy too, Jason." So they open emails because they feel like they're just like me. That's cool. I'm a musician, so I tell people that. So then they email me and they let me know about that, that they are musicians too. I went into Hare Krishna for a while, and there's actually people on my list who know a lot about Hare Krishna. And so there's all these little hooks, all these little bonds of commonalities that I've shared with myself that other people resonate with. So therefore, they like to open it up to read about that stuff, to see what's going on in my life now and see what I'm up to, because we have that deeper relationship. We're not just people who like marketing together, but we also share all these other common interests, which makes us like each other more because we both are like, oh, cool, you like that, I like that too. Then it kind of like, yeah, we both like a lot of the same things. We must be pretty cool. But that's pretty much how it is. So people are opening it up. And at the same time, like, humanizing yourself also means letting them know you're human, letting them know you're not perfect. That really helps to build trust. Because if you come out there acting like you're perfect or never showing any flaws in your character, people have a skepticism radar that just pops up. They say, well, wait a minute. I don't know anybody like that. Usually the people who act like that are con artists, or usually the people like that act like that are posers. They're fake. But if you come out and say, hey, yeah, I mess up sometimes, and yeah, this is going on in my life right now that's not perfect, and I'm totally having trouble with it. Or there's things that I can do in this niche that I'm really good at, but there's a lot of stuff in this niche I don't know anything about. And I'll be honest with you, I'm completely a dunce at that. So you're humanizing yourself. You're showing that you're not perfect, which is perfect. That's funny, by the way. But the other thing I do is I share a lot of personal stories because my brother's going through a tough time right now with his health, and so I talk about that a lot. And then I always try to twist it into something positive because at the end I'm showing them that I care, which is very important. I'm saying, look, if you're ever in a situation like I am in and you're dealing with it, this is the attitude that you can take. These are the things that you can contemplate. These are the strategies that I've learned through internet marketing that you can put in this situation. And then showing them you care too is sometimes when you make a mistake, just coming right out and being honest with them and saying, look, oops, I made this mistake here. I'm sorry, and I want you to know that this is an accident, and this is what I'm going to do about it. This is how I'm going to make this up to you, and so forth. They're just showing that you care. But going the extra mile, like I answer almost all the emails personally, and that shows that I care. So if I send them an email and then they respond back, I'll respond back to them. And it shows that I care, that I want to hear their communications. And at the same time, when I create a new product, I say, let me get your feedback before I create it. Because I want to make sure that it's good. It's everything that you want it to be. So that's another way that I showed that I care, by asking for their interaction from me and their feedback so that I can make whatever I'm offering better. So that's the main approach. If you want to write emails, there's really no formula to it, the way that I use it. I just try to incorporate these principles, and then I write whatever the hell comes to mind when I sit down and write. I absolutely never plan out my emails, hardly at all, but I just try to write from the heart. And I think that's the biggest thing here. When I sit down and write, it's straight from the heart. And I don't think about it a lot, but I try to incorporate these rules here. Always have a call to action, be exciting, show you care, and be different. And there's some other things I do, like I'm always optimistic for the most part. I'm optimistic because I always want to send out a good feeling because that's who I am as an individual. And there's other things that I do too, but these are the main 4 things I always try to hit in every single email. And the first one's big. Be different. Okay, if it's in a niche that isn't used to email marketing, then cookie cutter approach is fine, although I still don't recommend it. Once you get good at this, always strive for something better than the cookie cutter approach. The cookie cutter approach is, hey guys, I just got off the phone with, blah, 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 and he said, and the cookie cutter approach is where you blast them all your affiliate offers, and every day you're trying to sell them something, or whatever, and you're doing a lot of marketing ploys, which people, if they're not aware of them at first, they're great, but then as soon as everybody becomes aware of them, they lose their potency. So that personalization of the first name, that's great at first, but after a while, it loses its potency. And the don't buy this product, until you check out my bonus. At first it grabs everybody's attention, but then it's old hat after a while. But in a niche that isn't used to email marketing, well, then the cookie cutter approach will work really great at first, and then eventually it'll run out. But typically most niches that you're in, if it's in a competitive niche, you must change your approach. And ideally, you want them to open up your emails because they're always wondering, what is he or she up to next? And that's, again, like your friends. Like if you haven't heard from a friend in a while and they shoot you an email every month or so, maybe it's an old college buddy that you haven't seen in a long time or an old friend that moved away, you're always going to be opening it up to see what they're doing next. What are they up to next? What do they got to say now? And so that's what you want to feel from them. And if you're doing the cookie cutter approach that everybody else is doing, guess what? People know what you're up to next. You're selling them the same freaking email promotion that everybody else is selling them. And you're copying and pasting it. So it's the same exact damn thing. So the way you want to do is you want to absolutely be different. If you do nothing else with your emails, be different. You know how I'm different? I just write. I write whatever the hell I feel like, from the heart. So I have no formula when I sit down and write email marketing other than, I have a specific call to action. That's the only thing I do. Every email has something. We'll get into this down here. Every email has an intent to move our relationship forward with my list. Yes, that's the only thing I shoot for. But other than that, I just sit down and write whatever the hell comes to my mind. So sometimes my emails are 2 or 3 paragraphs. Sometimes they're long as hell. Sometimes they're 7 or 8 pages long. I don't care. I don't have any rules. I just sit down and I try to write and communicate directly from my heart and be as authentic as possible and be as transparent as possible. And in the internet marketing niche, that is so rare that you get that. The other thing that I like to do that's different is I like to tell them, hey, this is something new that I'm going to try out. What the hell's going to happen? Let's see what happens over the next couple of days. I'll be in communication with you and we'll see what comes out of this. So now they're opening it up saying, is Jason following through with this? What's Jason? Where's the direction of this going now? Did he get the feedback that I sent him? Is he incorporating that? So now they're opening it up to seeing what's going on next. And because I turn everything into an event. And so, like, if I'm launching something, I send out 3 or 4 emails before I launch it, because everybody's like, okay, what's he going to do with this launch now? What's he going to add to it? What's he taking away from it? What else is he going to reveal next? So it's always, what is he or she up to next? That's how you be different. If you're going to pitch affiliate products, pitch them uniquely. At the very least, you should be shooting a video of you. If it's a physical product, holding it up and talking about it. If it's not showing you demonstrating the product in action or even looking at the product, even if you do that one little thing, that'll make a big difference because you're not pitching it with the cookie cutter pasting the email approach. So that's one thing to consider. But if you're gonna pitch it, just pitch it differently. Make it fun. If everybody else is just selling hard to selling the benefits, just make it fun. Make it like a theme, a story or something. Just do something different. Share personal stories, like I said before. People cannot copy your own personal stories. Those are all unique to you. So that's information that is unique. And so that's a great way to be different by sharing that unique personal stories. And like I said, don't use the same marketing tactics as everybody else is using. They'll work at first until the consumer catches on, and the consumer will inevitably catch on. You might have already won $1 million sweepstakes. Just doesn't have the hook that it used to have, does it? And so, just instead of using tactics, use just personalization and just use where you try to resonate with them and show them that you care, and be exciting in your communication, and just try to be more personal with them and involve them in your life so that they feel that they know you like they're friends, instead of using marketing tactics. Rule number 2 is to show you care. Stick your neck out for them. If someone thinks sucks that they might be interested in, don't be afraid to tell them, even at the sake of sacrificing profits. And by sticking your neck out there for them, what you can even do is you can try stuff out that the marketplace is skeptical on and report your own results for it. Or, you could take a stand on a controversial issue and let them know that what your thoughts are and why you think that you're going on that, and that, yes, you're going to get crucified, but you want to absolutely find out the real deal on this, so you can report back to them. So that's one way to show you care. The other way to show you care, obviously, is always want their feedback. Always say, am I doing, following up with them and making sure they're happy. That's a very good, important thing. The other thing to consider is, if you drop the ball, let them know. Everybody drops the ball once in a while. And it's so much better if you just come right out and say it. Like, I was launching time management program. And I'm like, I was trying to get this done on vacation, but I just didn't, guys. Sorry you didn't hear from me for like 5 days. I apologize for that. I went on vacation with my family, which you guys knew about. Well, when I get back, we're going to really make this happen. And, I didn't have to bribe them or say anything to them. I just said, hey, I dropped the ball. I'm sorry about that. I had, that happens a couple of times where I've dropped the ball, and I just came right out and told them, hey, I'm sorry. I made a mistake here. And then there's other times where I do stuff that I think is instructive for them, where I make a mistake. So I tell them about the mistake that I made. And I say, look, I did this, and maybe I didn't handle this properly, but this is what I learned from it. And this is how you can make sure this doesn't happen to you. And so that shows that you care about them, that you're willing to put yourself on the line. That's basically what it is. That you're willing to put yourself on the line to let them know that you're in it with them. Rule number 3 here is to be exciting. Turn offers into events. Nothing that I launch, there's maybe 1 or 2 exceptions, but for the most part, whatever I launch is an event. It happens on a very certain date. There's a lot of buildup that surrounds it, and it's something that people have taken a part of and have helped influence the outcome of. So that way they have a vested interest in it. And so it's turning offers into events, meaning that people know that on a certain time at a certain date this thing is going to happen, and they've done that with continual communication leading up to that event. If it's just an offer over and over again, it's so static, and it seems so generic. Like, this thing will come up again next week in a different form. I'm not going to be missing anything if I don't get involved in this today, and so that's why it's not exciting. It's boring. Mix your modalities in content. Your modalities don't just send them email all the time. Sometimes send them to a blog. That's a different modality. Sometimes send them to a PDF report. That's a different modality. A video course. That's a different modality. An audio course. Worksheets. That kind of stuff. Webinars. Teleseminars. That way they're getting all different kinds of communications from them. So they can see your writing, so they know you as a writer. Then they can know you in the video. Then they can know you in the audio. Then they can know you in a live question and answer setting, and so on and so forth. So they feel more like that you care, because you're taking the time to hit them, to help make sure everybody gets what they want in the way that they like to process the information, and that again, that you care about. You're taking those extra steps and doing the things that nobody else is doing, because you're making sure that they get your communications in several different mediums. And content's the same way. So sometimes the content is just of a personal nature. Sometimes the content is just in a, this will make you feel good kind of way. Sometimes the content is where you're pitching your stuff hard. Sometimes the content is where you're asking for their feedback, and stuff like that. So, mix up your content. I like stick content too a lot. This is where, when people buy your stuff, you say to them, hey, what is the results that you've gotten so far with this information? And you want them to help consume it. So you say, if you do nothing else, at least open to page 33 and do this exercise now. Because that kind of content will make sure it'll show you care, because you're trying to get them after the sell. you're still putting in work after the sale to make sure that they are using your stuff. And if they use it, you know they're going to get good results if you have good stuff. So that's something to think about. Mixing your modalities. Try new things and let them know you're trying new things. So like one time I launched a product, or I launched a webinar for time management. And I was like, honestly, guys, I don't know if this is going to work or not. It's going to be fun as hell though, and I'm going to try to communicate with you the stuff that I do to really manage my time effectively. So if you want to get in on it, here it is. And so I honestly let them know it was an experiment. I thought it was going to be very helpful, but I couldn't guarantee the results. But that I wanted to involve them in it because I think it could have been beneficial for them. And so that's kind of exciting because they don't know what's going to happen next. They don't know what's going to, they get on there and it might be crazy. Who knows what's going to happen? So that's excitement. And that's a good way to create responsiveness. And always have a call to action is the last thing here. This is the most important thing. So you want to always, your communications to do something, to create a certain feeling. You should always have the intent of leaving your prospects, or your readers, your people on your list, leave with a certain feeling. So, a feeling of excitement to click a link, or a feeling like, they're going to get something good if they click the link, and so on and so forth. So that feeling will set them in the mood to do whatever you want them to do, which is to click a link, post on a blog, share your thought on a forum, email you back with a response, etc. So always have a call to action in your emails. And there's very rarely I don't have a call to action. And I guess the call to action doesn't have to be, sometimes the call to action is even look for tomorrow's email where I give you more details on this. So in that case, the call to action is that to look for your email tomorrow, but you're specifically giving them some sort of instructions in every single one of your emails. So, usually it's just click a link if it's to a blog. If it's to a blog, tell them to actually post on the blog itself. Share your thoughts on a forum. If you sent something on the forum, you say, check out, guys, this is the argument I got into with so-and-so. What do you think of this? Go ahead and go over there and post, and chime in with your feedback. Email you back a response. Hey, I'm trying out this new program. I'm putting the finishing touches on it. I want to know what you think. I really want to make this program as good as it can be. So please email me back your response, and I'll consider it, and I might even reply to it, but I'll definitely consider it. If it's a good idea, I'm going to add it into the course because I want to make this the best course possible. So you'll always have a call to action in your emails. That's important. You aim to come in with whatever you want them to do for the call to action. You're like, okay, how can I do this in a way where I come across as empathetic with them, by being personal with them, or by sharing something personal about myself, or by giving them a little bit of information that they're not getting anywhere else. I'm putting myself on the line. How can I do this in a different way than everybody else is talking about this, if they are, or then just different than the normal, here's what this is all about, go here, and how can I make it exciting? So that they will click on the link, email me back the response, yada, yada, yada. With that said, let's get into some list building philosophies. Because I've really talked about the overall approach. Because like I said, I have no system for email marketing other than these things that I try to incorporate in all my emails. And then when I sit down, I just write straight from the heart. And that's all I do. I just write whatever comes out. Whatever comes off the top of my head, I write. And it doesn't have to be this long or this much or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it always has a specific thing that I'm using to move the relationship forward to the next step. And that's it. That's what I do. But so let's talk about list building philosophy here. You'll eventually offend someone. There's no doubt about that. If you're mass communicating with a large number of people, you'll eventually offend someone. So figure out who it will be in advance. And what does that mean? That means that, okay, so some people don't like my long emails. Screw them. I don't care then. I don't mind offending somebody who can't read long emails because they have a short attention span, not the kind of customer that I want. So, I don't care. So that way when I write my emails, that doesn't ever affect my communications. So that allows me to write more freely because I don't care about offending them because I already know that if I offend them, it's not going to be any hair off my back. Some of the other people that I offend are, let me think about this. For the people that I have typos in some of my emails. Now, I don't try to do that intentionally. And I do proofread my emails. But it's very hard when you write all day long like I do. I write so much information to be able to catch all your typos. You're just going to make them. And so if people get offended because I have typos, I don't really care. They can go somewhere else because I want the people that value the information more than anything else as my customers. So if I offend those other people, I don't really care. That's not a big deal to me. So yeah, once you know who you can offend and it doesn't bother you, then it really frees you up to write how you should write and write in a personal way. Because if you're trying to write to please everybody, guess what? You're not being different. You're being like every other freaking marketer on the planet. And that means you're not going to get the responsiveness that you can get. And so honestly, some people are offended that I share personal stories. You know what I say to them? I say, screw you. I don't care. I look at all my best customers and all the customers that buy most of my stuff. They like my personal stories. So I'm writing them for those guys, not for the people who get all finicky and they buy one thing and then they figure out something to complain about. So, I don't care if I offend those people. Some people get offended because sometimes I email 5-6 times a week. Well, guess what? If I have something good to say 5 to 6 times a week, I'm going to freaking say it. I don't want to hold out on something good from my list just because a couple people are going to get offended because I'm emailing them frequently. They can just leave my list. So once I know who I don't care, who I offend, then that allows me to free up my communication to write for those who are really, really in tune with my style of email marketing, and those are the people that are going to be my best customers. So, like I said, and so this dictates everything else. The proper length of an email, honestly, my opinion is it doesn't really matter. I write long emails. I write short emails. I write mid-size emails. I write my email with this philosophy. Whatever I got to say, I'm going to sit down and write it out and say it. If I can say it in 2 paragraphs, awesome. If I can't say it and it takes me 5 pages to say everything I want to say in that email, hey, great, awesome, I don't care. So my philosophy again is I don't care. I'm going to write because I'm writing from a deeper level. This is deep level communication here. I use email marketing for deep level communication. And so think about it. If you meet a friend that you haven't seen in a while and you got something really good to tell them, are you going to limit it to 2 paragraphs? Or are you going to limit it to a certain amount of words? No, you're going to say everything you need to say to them. And not a bit more, but not a bit less. And so how often should you email? Again, what if you every single day you found something great that your friend would be interested in? So like your friend, let's say your friend's studying culinary arts and he's trying to get in this college. So every single day you just happen to come across something that would help him do that. And there wasn't a huge ulterior motive to where he thought you were working him and you had something else to gain by it, but you were really looking out for his best interest. Do you think he would be happy if you say, well, I called him yesterday. I guess I shouldn't call him today. No, he'd be pissed off. And so if you have good stuff that comes their way and you're not really pushing some slick ulterior motive, then you're going to want to communicate with them as often as possible. As often as you have something good to say to them that you think will be a benefit to them. And so if that's 6 times a week or even 10 times a week sometimes, you'll do it. But if it's 2 times a week because you absolutely don't have nothing to give them really that's going to really help them out that week, well, then you communicate with them 2 times that week. Not a big deal. There's no set number. There's no rules. There's no proper length of an email when you go for this deeper level communication stuff. If you really want to create the most responsive list, you learn to write from the heart. And then you learn when you're writing that, you got to show that you care when you write from the heart. So you aim with that in mind. When you sit down saying, I want to show them I care. I want to be different with my communications than everybody else. I want them to feel excited when they read this. I want them to feel like they're a part of something. And then I'm going to have a specific way to move this relationship further to make it deeper. And then you write. And that's deep level communication. And so that's something to think about. But that's email marketing. That's how you create a really responsive list. Exactly here. So I know this is more philosophy and less action plan, systematic than what you're used to from me, but this is my system. This is the least systematic system that I have for email marketing, but my email marketing is super effective. The average person on my list is worth about $100 over their lifetime of subscription to my list. And it's growing too, by the way, because a lot of people stay on my list for a really long time and have really low unsubscribe rates. And this is the whole approach that I have to email marketing. So use it, benefit from it, and let me know your results. Thank you.
So that concludes today's session. I hope you enjoyed it and got some useful information from it. And if you did, please be sure to like and subscribe to our channel as we will be bringing you more videos just like it in the future. So with that, this is Dan from DIY Web Marketer, thanking you for watching and wishing you a good day.